The Sunday school lesson for November 23rd, 2025 is Ezekiel's responsibility. Ezekiel chapter 33, verses 7 through 16a. Welcome, viewers and subscribers, to my channel, The Backstory and More. If you are interested in knowing what happens before each Sunday school lesson, you are at the right place because I will share the backstory, read the lesson text, and offer a brief lesson summary. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel to help this channel continue to grow. Thank you so much for all that you do to help me walk in my purpose. The backstory takes us to Ezekiel chapter 33, verses 1 through 6. This is the renewal of Ezekiel's call as watchman. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, speak to your people and say to them, when I bring the sword against a land, and the people of the land choose one of their men and make him their watchman, and he sees the sword coming against the land and blows the trumpet to warn the people, then if anyone hears the trumpet but does not heed the warning, and the sword comes and takes their life, their blood will be on their own head. Since they heard the sound of the trumpet, but did not heed the warning, their blood will be on their own head. If they had heeded the warning, they would have saved themselves. But if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not blow the trumpet to warn the people, and the sword comes and takes someone's life, that person's life will be taken because of their sin. But I will hold the watchman accountable for their blood. The backstory ends here, and the narrative continues with verse 7 in the next frame. Verses 7 through 8. Son of man, I have made you a watchman for the people of Israel. So hear the word I speak and give them warning from me. When I say to the wicked, you wicked person, you will surely die, and you do not speak out to dissuade them from their ways, that wicked person will die for their sin, and I will hold you accountable for their blood. Verses 9 through 10. But if you do warn the wicked person to turn from their ways, and they do not do so, they will die for their sin, though you yourself will be saved. Son of man, say to the Israelites, this is what you are saying. Our offenses and sins weigh us down, and we are wasting away because of them. How then can we live? Verse 11, say to them, as surely as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but rather that they turn from their ways and live. Turn from your evil ways. Why will you die, people of Israel? Verse 12, therefore, Son of man, say to your people, if someone who is righteous disobeys, that person's former righteousness will count for nothing. And if someone who is wicked repents, that person's former wickedness will not bring condemnation. The righteous person who sins will not be allowed to live, even though they were formerly righteous. Verses 13 through 14. If I tell a righteous person that they will surely live, but then they trust in their righteousness and do evil, none of the righteous things that person has done will be remembered. They will die for the evil they have done. And if I say to a wicked person, you will surely die, but they then turn away from their sin and do what is just and right, verses 15 through 16a. If they give back what they took in pledge for a loan, return what they have stolen. Follow the decrees that give life, and do no evil. That person will surely live. They will not die. None of the sins that person has committed will be remembered against them. A brief summary. In Ezekiel chapter 3, verses 17 through 21, Ezekiel was given the role of a watchman for his nation. That image is repeated and clarified further here. A watchman guarding the gates of an ancient city would be posted on the walls, watching for potential attack while others slept. Furthermore, the watchman needed to be decisive, not hesitating to sound the alarm when he saw danger. A midnight trumpet blast would ruin a good night's sleep, but the cost of silence was greater. A watchman who decided to catch a nap or who refrained from sounding an alarm for fear of waking someone was not fulfilling his trust. People would die, and it would be his responsibility. The comparison was apt. Ezekiel needed to point out sinful behavior that would lead to the destruction of his countrymen. He would be responsible for their demise if he did not do so. The watchman might sound the alarm, but some might prefer to ignore it and go back to sleep. Others may try to hide within the gates rather than join the battle. Those choices will lead to destruction, but the fault is not the watchman's. Thank you for listening. Stay safe and may God bless.